No more waiting for the kettle to boil. No more waiting for a pound of water to boil. With a cook...
Okay, I think that will do. How are you all doing? Good to see a few of you here. What we're doing today, I think this is my first ever live stream, so let's hope it goes okay. So I'm playing on the Xbox Series S version of Flight Simulator, streaming that to you live, and I'm going to do a flight from Shoreham, which is next to Brighton. So if you're on the world map, just go to the UK and try and find... There, we can see Shoreham straight away, but try and find Brighton and then zoom in. Between Brighton and Worthing, you got Shoreham. So we'll zoom into that airport, go to runway 20 and press your A button on the Xbox, I've got to remember that. Set as departure on runway 20. And what we'll be doing, let me just zoom out a bit and let me just grab my mouse. I've got a mouse connected to the Xbox just for ease. If I can untangle it from my controller. Bear with me. There we go, there's a mouse. So we're going to be taking off from runway 20 and flying eastward around the UK coast here. Taking in a couple of famous sites. We've got Brighton, of course, Brighton Pier. You've got Bexhill, Eastbourne's quite famous. Various different famous sites. Flying round the coast, and then we'll be coming upon things like the White Cliffs of Dover, I believe. There you go, White Cliffs of Dover. So lots of interesting, and Folkestone, of course. Flying along the coast until we get to this inlet from the Thames, and then we'll be flying along the Thames into London City Airport. So quite an interesting flight. Takes about an hour. I've actually got this flight from PC Pilot magazine. If you look in the description, you will see PC Pilot, a link to PC Pilot magazine. It's a UK magazine, absolutely recommended. They're doing a UK Discovery Tour, and this is actually leg 2 of the Discovery Tour. But yeah, fully recommend that. And you'll also find a link to Discord. That's important. I'll go through that later in this video. So we're at Shoreham Airport, runway 20. Let's go fly. How's everybody doing? Is anybody going to type hello? Please. Feeling rather lonely here at the moment. Hello. Takes a few moments for the video to catch up with chat, so hopefully somebody will say hello to me. Oh, good. Good to hear, Equalizer. Thank goodness people are there. Okay, so we're at Shoreham. I'm going to go ready to fly. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? So, what I'm going to do for this flight as well is go to my weather tab. I'm going to go live weather. It makes the flight more challenging, but it's quite a nice day on the south coast. I live near Shoreham, about half an hour away. Live weather, and yeah, it's near enough. There's a few clouds. There's no snow on the ground. That's better. I was going to say there's no snow on the ground. So we're in live weather, makes it more challenging. Okay, great. Great to hear, Equalizer. Hey, John, how you doing? So, yeah, Shoreham Airport, runway 20. We're going to release the parking brake. Throttle up. And take off. So, in the Cessna 172, of course. All very standard and straightforward. We'll get up to 60 to 70 knots and pull back gently. I'm using the Xbox Series S flight controller just to make things even more difficult for myself. So pull back gently. Yeah, there's a bit of wind off takeoff. That's what I expected. And I'm going to start trimming so I can relieve pressure on that left stick straight away. Trim by holding the right button and using the right analog stick, of course. Anybody using the Xbox Series S or X would know that. I'm just going to gently turn using the left analog stick and a little bit of rudder with the trigger buttons. What I'll do in this video is actually go over a few of my sensitivity settings again, because I've changed a few of them to get it feeling nice and natural. Just very slight movement. It's almost like guiding the aircraft rather than forcing it. Oh, thanks, Spindrift. So we're going to fly parallel to the south coast there. We've got Brighton coming up already. Brighton and Hove. Look at that. Series S graphics, but they still look pretty damn good to me. So I'm going to throttle back. I don't want to overrev the engine. Just clicking the B button just to throttle back a little bit. And just gently, just basically, it's almost like akin to riding a bike for me. I'm just guiding the aircraft with my controller. Gentle movements. I'm going to climb to a comfortable altitude. I'm not going to set a definite altitude because I've done this flight in practice and there's a bit of a wind gust every now and again. Suddenly you'll either descend 100 feet or climb 100 feet. Let's just click the throttle back a couple of times so we don't get that over revving warning. Just gently trimming. I'm at a height that I feel comfortable at now. Maybe between this height, what are we at? 800, 900 feet and 1,400. Anywhere between that is good for this flight. Oh, 50 hours in a week. Wow. Good grief. Okay, that's probably as much as I put into the Series S at the moment. But I've had it a bit longer, of course. Great to see so many people. That's fantastic. I wouldn't think so, Daniel. I don't know. I didn't play too much GTA 5 on consoles. I played it on PC. You can give it a go. So I believe Brighton and Hove. What do you chaps think? I think that's photogrammetry scenery. Doesn't look default scenery to me. Looks like they've actually mapped that from satellite images. Let me know what you think. Very convincing flying over Brighton and Hove, and this part of the UK, lovely. Totally recommend this flight. We will be doing a stop and go at Lydd Airport, or Lydd. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. It's Lydd. We'll be doing a stop and go there on the way to London City. Just watching my altitude. I don't want to raise too much now. So let's just throttle back to control that. Basically, where's my mouse? I want this little tab there to be blank and not raising or descending at all. Now it's blank, but it might still be raising or descending slightly. So just got to keep an eye on that. Okay, I must have zoomed in on the mouse or something. My controls have gone a little bit wonky there. What's happening? Ah. I don't know. Oh well, have to play it that way for the moment. So we've just gone over Brighton Pier. I was meant to bring that to your attention, but Brighton Pier and the I-360 at Brighton just passed us by. Hello, Greek dude, how you doing, mate? It's good to see you. Yeah, recentering the controls zooms me. Have I got? I know why. It's better. Duh. I was down at that display. Never mind. Yep. Everything's okay. So we're going to be flying, let's just refer to the magazine here, because it tells you where we're going to be flying to as well. The Beachy Head, the White Cliffs of Beachy Head should be showing. When I first saw these White Cliffs here, I was thinking they're Dover, but Dover's round the corner of the UK. You go round the corner here, more northwards. So these white beach heads coming up. Actually, let me just descend a little bit better. I don't know if you can see them properly there, and if they're loading in properly, because I'm streaming and streaming in data to Flight Sim at the same time. There's meant to be white cliffs here. It's not streaming in. But anyway, these white cliffs at Beachy Head are some of the highest white cliffs in the UK, apparently. What height are they at? 530 feet above sea level. So there you go, a little fact for you. Good to hear, Greek dude. So I want to get a little bit more parallel to the coast here. And once we do round the little islands here, the UK rather, this little island, once we do round it, we'll be coming up on our first airport, which is Lydd. I'm going to call it Lydd, L-Y-D-D. And we'll be doing a touch and go there, so we'll be landing and then throttling up and taking off immediately. Let's just zoom in here to see. It's handy to have the mouse to zoom in and out. Yeah, the white heads of Beachy Head, the white cliffs of Beachy Head are not loading in properly. I'm not surprised, I'm using up a lot of data streaming live to you chaps. Oh, brilliant! That's great to hear, Mike. That's great to hear. Good, can't wait for that update then. Yeah, normally it's okay, I'm just using a lot of bandwidth streaming. Yeah, you can start to see now the cliffs. Oh dear, how embarrassing. They're slowly coming in. Or slowly loading in. This has to happen on a live stream, hey? Well, let's hope the White Cliffs of Dover are more prominent. There you go, anyway. Those are meant to be White Cliffs. We'll just pretend they are for this stream. So I am going to use the VFR map later. I'll bring that up later. I don't want to use it much because I want this to be basically a visual flight. VFR rules. Altitude is way up. Let's trim down a little bit. So I am looking at chat and looking at the simulator at the same time. I want to come down in height. I don't want to be that high. Between... Actually... My eyesight must be going wrong. I was at the ideal height. Never mind. Good practice anyway. Good trimming practice. When I'm trimming, I'm holding my left bumper button and I'm slowly adjusting that right analog stick to get us into an ideal level flight, level trimming position. So pushing up to trim down, pushing down to trim up. Never chasing it. You get the feeling after a while of where it's going to settle. So there you go, more towns, little villages coming up. Oh, great to hear, Spindrift. Yeah, I have adapted a couple of these settings. I'll show you that later in this video. Anyway, let's talk while we're flying here, and we're going to go around the coast, of my intentions for live streaming. I'm intending to live stream at least once per month, and probably doing some kind of tutorial live streams. I've not... There's some whites. I think these might be the white cliffs of Beachy Head. There we go. They have loaded in. Let's get back to what I was saying. Intending to do some kind of a tutorial live stream, so I'll be picking an aircraft, Probably start with the Cessna. Not quite sure which way I'm going to do it, whether I allow people to talk while I'm trying to teach, or just have people flying. I'll do the talking. You can type in the chats if you want to ask something. I've not decided yet, but that's the intention. A live stream once per month where you chaps can join in with me too. I'm just doing this because this is my first live stream, so I'm flying solo, as you can see there. But future live streams I want you to join in with me, and you'll do that through Discord. You'll sign up through Discord, which is in the description. I'll have a special sort of channel in Discord where you can sign up for the future live streams, so keep an eye on that. I want to bring Discord back alive. It's gone very quiet over the past few months, which happens. I kind of abandoned it for a while, but now I'm back on it, and I'm there pretty much daily, or when I can. So yeah, join Discord if you haven't already, especially if you want to come on future flights. Yeah, rudders do need tweaking a bit. The triggers work okay, I find, on the Series S and X controller. You just have to be very sensitive with them. So I'll be turning here in a moment. I'll be using a little bit of rudder. In fact, I can start using it now. I'm just lightly squeezing on that rudder and then coming off it when I'm at my ideal turn rate. And if I need to turn a bit quicker, I'll put a little bit more rudder pressure on. I don't need to at the moment. I'm just guiding it gently around the coast here. Is my voice level okay, by the way, chaps? I've been playing around with the mic. Let me know if it's too booming or too quiet. Yeah, altitude perfect. Oh yeah, good tip, Mike. Yeah. Altitude's perfect. It can get a little bit breezy, especially along this sort of northeasterly coast. So just be aware of that. Suddenly you can rise or descend 100 feet within the blink of an eye. So I'm just gently, with the left analog stick, just gliding it round the coastline there. No sudden movements. Treat it like you would your lady. And hopefully you treat your lady gently. So any plans for the weekend, chaps? Any flights plans or other plans? Yeah, very true, Jason. Yeah, pretty much universal. Yeah. And that's true as well, Spindrift. Yeah. If you move it too suddenly, you're going skoo-whiffy. So you've got to be very careful with the controllers. Always loved with the Xbox controllers, that's right analog stick where you can just look around, use your mouse wheel then to zoom in and out. When you're looking for airports, it's particularly handy. Talking about airports, our first port of call will be coming up soon, Lydd Airport. I haven't bought the Captain Sim 777 yet, if anybody else has. Very good, Daniel. And our first airport, Lydd Airport, is around here. I've got points of interest turned on, just because I prefer points of interest turned on, personally. And just to make it slightly easier for this flight, slightly easier for you to see what's coming up, I can just about see a thin line in the distance there, and that is Lydd Airport, as far as I know. Oh, excellent. Excellent, Mike. Good tip. Yeah, I need to start assigning some zoom controls on the Xbox as well. Definitely. Yeah, I'm using my mouse for ease of use, but that's a good tip. So, I think it's about 15 nautical miles out, you should start to see the name of the airport in front of us. Lydd should show. At about 7 nautical miles, I'll get our throttle down to flaps 1 speed. And I'll show you how a good reference, a good guide for doing that. Yeah, the only thing I'm not liking about the Xbox controller currently is the pitch control. I'll tell you what, it's a good time to show you my settings, why not? I've disrupted the flight there, but we can go back to it. So sensitivity, I've altered a couple of things here. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat at the moment. So you can see my left and right movement. I think that's similar to the video I showed of my sensitivity I made for my sensitivities. So minus 75, dead zone 29% in reactivity, 20% an extremity dead zone 9%. What I have altered is the pitch. I can't get this right, I'm still working on it, but I've put it down to minus 90 sensitivities on the up and down movement, the pitch movement. And dead zone at 50%. It behaves a little bit on reactivity at 20, extremity dead zone at 9%. This video will be up after I've done the live stream, so you can refer to this. That behaves a little bit better, but nothing like flying a yoke, with a yoke, rather. Bring on the yokes for Xbox. So any moment we should start seeing Lydd Airport come up as a point of interest. I do believe it's... where's my mouse pointer? I do believe it's this one here. Yeah, it's a lovely little flight. It does get very exciting later when we're flying in the mouth of the Thames, essentially. And then coming up in no time to London City. That's after we've done a touch and go at this airport. And we'll come to Folkestone and then Dover, the White Cliffs of Dover. But pretty much when you fly this route, we should be flying straight towards the runway, more or less here. I'll show you that once we get nearer, but we should be on a pretty much a good approach for the runway at Lydd Airport here, keeping this line. Yeah, I don't know, Daniel. They've got the Huddison 1, haven't they, and the Horry Huddison, and I think there's another Huddison. Yeah, trim can be a little bit difficult. You just got to kind of like guide it gently. With trim, I find using you'd thumb gently like you would with the left stick, your left and right movement and up and down movement. Be as gentle with the trim as you are with the controls, aircraft controls, is my advice. And do refer to the video. I can't link it now, but it will be on there, my Xbox specific playlist. My sensitivities for the trim, I can show you later anyway in this video. Put some sensitivity on the trigger buttons, on the right analog stick as well, and that helps. So what's our altitude? Yeah, I'm okay with that. I think we've got more photogrammetry scenery. It looks like you can always tell the photogrammetry scenery because the default scenery is just like default buildings and goodness knows what, whereas photogrammetry is more bespoke and individual, and I believe that's a bit of a mix of both. Since the UK update, a lot of these areas got photogrammetry treatment, some better than others. London hit and miss. But some of these coastal areas got photogrammetry scenery as well, so well worth doing this flight if you've not flown along the south coast. Still use a D-line clip, I do indeed, yeah. Mainly with DCS, I've got to say DCS World Combat Simulator. I use it now and again with Flight Simulator. I don't know, I just prefer the flat screen traditional experience with Flight Simulator for some reason. But I do use it now and again for sure. With the Spitfire in Flight Simulator, it's fantastic, yeah. But this is on the Xbox. Dirtmond, yep, it's on the Xbox. So it takes a while to get there, sorry chaps, but you know. It's what flying's about. It's not just rushing from A to B, but while you're flying, look around, look at that. Now the Xbox Series S is probably the least, has the least fidelity in terms of graphics from PC to the Series X, of course. But it can still look pretty sensational in parts. Pretty amazing in parts. And there's nothing like sitting back on your couch and just going for a fly. Lovely. Ah. Okay, we're being buffeted about now, so keep an eye on our altitude. You'll find we'll probably either be losing or gaining altitude. Yeah, if you got PC Flight Simulator, definitely get hold of the D-Line clip. It's excellent for all flight simulators. Oh. Altitude's going a bit crazy here. There we go. Now Lydd Airport. It gets very breezy along here, so this landing should be pretty interesting. Especially with the Series S controller. I'm looking forward to this one. But even if it's windy, I've got this on live weather, even if it's windy, don't panic. With the Cessna aircraft especially, you've got a ton of time to line up. And what I'll do here now is bring up our VFR map. Get to the top there, VFR map. And I can show you, we're pretty much lined up. Oh, come on, VFR map. Yep. We're pretty much lined up with the airport. Oh, I might have to zoom in a bit to show you the actual airport. Why is it not displaying? Bear with me, I've got to keep an eye on what the aircraft's doing as well, because it's being buffeted around. You might just have to take my word for it in this case. Sometimes it... there we are. That's the one we're landing on, I believe. So if I do that and do that, there you go, that's our runway, and it's going in that direction, so we're pretty much lined up with it. You have to just take my word for that one. Or on that one, rather. Yeah, let's get our aircraft back in the optimal position here. Once we get to around 7 nautical miles out, I'll start to decrease throttle. Let's go down here, we should be okay. I'm going to try and get that needle. I'm going to decrease the throttle so much that that needle here, you can see on the RPM, will be on around that white arc, and that should be enough for flaps 1, or slow enough so that we can go safely into flaps 1 speed. So that's a good guide for you. Try and get that needle there into that white arc, or roughly near it, and then you should be okay for flaps 1. And shortly after, flaps 2. No, that's true, Mike. Absolutely, absolutely. It's outstanding value with the Series S, and it actually looks sensational in parts. The whole of the UK countryside was given an uplift with Update 3, World Update 3, and it just looks absolutely brilliant. And France, of course, mainland Europe and the US, incredible. Where are we? We're 10 nautical miles out. Just keeping an eye on my altitude. I'm okay. Just want to throttle back, clicking the throttle, just so I don't climb anymore. And that should be okay for our airport approach. This is the easy part. It's great to see so many people here. That's fantastic. I was expecting about 10 people. I've got, what, 18 at the moment? Great. Hopefully more in the future. Like I said, for people who've just joined, the idea is to do a live stream with you chaps. You can come and join along and maybe do a couple of tutorial live stream lessons. That will be interesting. But we shall give it a try. Once a month I'm looking at the moment, because it's all with my work schedule, that's all I can manage. I'm using the mouse, kind of cheating, but if you were in an aircraft, you would be able to get nearer to the window screen and see what's ahead of you. Can't really see anything with the airport yet, so it doesn't really matter. 8 nautical miles out. I'm not ignoring you now, chat. I'm just going to concentrate on what's happening on screen, because we're getting bouncy weather. And I want to get myself into flaps 1 position. Yeah, that's right. Love the Series S for the portability as well. You can take it anywhere with you. It's brilliant. So 7.4, 7.3, 2, and 1. Okay, so I'm just going to dab my B button. By dab, it's slightly longer press than a click. You can see my white arc is going towards that. So the arrow's going towards that white arc. I'm going to trim up, so right bumper and down on the right analog stick, to maintain the altitude roughly. Slow down a bit more. I want to get to around 100 knots. So while I'm slowing down, I'm just maintaining the altitude as best I can with my trim. And I've seen videos of real Cessna aircraft pilots flying. They'll generally use their flight controls often to maintain altitude. Maybe a little bit of trim than use the flight controls even. But I find it easier to trim to maintain altitude. There we go. We've got flaps 1 now. Let's go to our left window. Flaps 1. Just beware the aircraft will flare, so I'm going to trim to compensate for that. Whilst I'm in that position, I'm just going to zoom in on the airport here to see if I can see it. Get rid of that VFR map, it's in our way now. See if I can see anything off the runway. I know this runway anyway, but do feel free to use your mouse, if you have one, to zoom in a little bit to get a clearer view of where the runway is. At a nice speed, no panic here, no panic at all. We've got plenty of room to get this aircraft down safely. I think the runway is running in that direction. I can roughly see it. I always find it difficult in any flight simulator to see runways correctly. Now I can see it more clearly. Go to flaps 2. Just beware of the flare. And we're nicely configured now. Don't want to be dropping at any altitude at the moment. That's a great altitude. I'm not going to follow... yeah, true. Negatives are the storage on the Series S. I'm not going to follow the PAPI lights. This is not going to be a perfect by-the-book landing. Ideally, you should do. If you're starting with Flight Simulator, get the aircraft down. Guide it down towards the beginning of the runway, the threshold of the runway, which I can just about see taking place in front of me. Now the wind's coming in a little bit. And if you don't like being buffeted about, if you don't want wind, set it to clear skies and just take any wind layers. I've got videos of that bottom wind layer off, and it'll be as calm as a calm sea. It's a terrible analogy, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Speed perfect. What are we? 76. I can go a little bit slower, but I just want to maintain our altitude. That speed's okay. I'm in flaps 2. Second stage of flaps, rather. I can see the runway ahead of us. Let's try and guide this aircraft around a little bit and line up with that runway in front of us. And we're just going to do a touch and go, like I say, land, slow down, speed up and take off. Land, slow down, raise the flaps and then speed up and take off. It's a long runway. There, now you can see the runway better. It's terrible. You've got to be pretty much on top of it. I'm a little bit low there. A little bit low. So I'm just going to trim up a little bit. In fact, I'm not going to trim up. I'm going to use my throttle. Let's do this properly, Huddison. I'm going to use my throttle, and that will increase my altitude. And when I want to descend, it's a bit fiddly with the Xbox, this, I've got to say. But when I want to descend, I'll decrease the throttle. Very fiddly with the Xbox. It's difficult to get the throttle right. Do it whichever way you prefer. I think I've got it just about right there. A little bit less throttle, and that should be perfect. If you want to trim, trim. If you want to use your throttle, throttle. Until we get yokes and things where we can get finite throttle control, do it whichever way you feel best. I'm using a bit of trim there. I'm cheating. I'm not using my throttle. Just because the A and B buttons are a bit fiddly. You can't tell how much throttle you have taken off or deployed. So there we go. Let's try and line up with the centre line this time. I always seem to miss the centre line. I get on the runway, but I'm terrible at lining up. I don't know if it's just my own inconsistencies, let's say. There we go, that's a bit better. I'll increase a little bit there. I'll use throttle control and decrease. That'll do. Let it just come down now. Let it just come down slowly. Pappy lights are actually looking not too bad. I'm a bit high. I won't go into pappy lights with this video. I'm just trying to get it down on the runway. Nice and slowly. Don't panic at this point. Just glide it down. These aircraft, like the Cessnas, are meant to glide down onto runways, essentially. You've got to slow down, but they're meant to glide gracefully onto the runways. I'm okay now. I'm going to decrease my throttle and use my left stick. So I've decreased my throttle pretty much. I've not lined up properly again, have I? Never mind, I'm on the runway. Oh, that pitch control on the Series S controller. Never mind, that's okay. Gently down. Raise the flaps. Let's get back before I come off the runway. And let's speed up again. Wasn't too bad. Wasn't perfect, but bit of wind. And I'm using the Series S controller. No excuse. It was okay. It was okay. Was it? I'm asking you chaps, was it okay? Take off again. And we'll just follow that coastline round again now till we get to the mouth of the Thames, and we'll pass the White Cliffs of Dover. Oh, I did kill the engine, Daniel. Yeah, I did when I was over the threshold. It's difficult to tell, but I did kill the engine. Cheers. That'll do. Yeah, that's true, Mick. Absolutely. And that was, yeah, not too bad. It was just a bit off the centre line, really. That's the joy of flight simming. Right, let's throttle back a little bit so we don't over-rev the engine. Still a bit windy, as you can see. I'm in a different part of the UK. It's not windy here, but it seems to be on that sort of east coast, which it normally is. And you may see in the distance there the White Cliffs of Dover. Thankfully they've loaded in. You can see them actually coming up. We'll be passing Folkestone and Dover itself. Oh yeah, yeah, it's true. Yeah, yeah, you can readapt the assignments. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's just never going to be easy, and they did mess around with trim and throttle with Sim Update 5 as well, so you have to get reused to it on PC, I've noticed. Alright, let's throttle back a little bit. Let's concentrate on what I'm doing. And I'll bring up the VFR map later, because it gets a little bit confusing where the mouth of the Thames is visually. But with help of the VFR map, we can eliminate that problem. Let's get a bit closer to those. Let's get a bit closer to the coast, so we can see the white cliffs a little bit better. So what have you got planned for the weekend? Any flights planned? I've got a new, for members, I think there's one member here at least, I've got a new member video coming up this weekend. And my next video after that for members will be a kind of top secret aircraft review I'm working on. Any information about membership, just click the join button. You won't join, but it gives you a video explaining what you get. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Greek Dude, I think you're a member for sure. Hi! Let me see if I can... Mr. Rooks, how are you doing? Italy, I've got a good friend in Italy, Verona. Oh, lovely, Mick. Lovely. Wow. That will be interesting. The UK is absolutely fascinating to fly around. Anybody who's not doing it at the moment, I fully recommend you go and do it. You got, I mean, look at this. The scenery you get. And this is just the coastal towns. Is outstanding. So what part of Italy are you from, Mr. Rooks? What's that altitude doing? Oh, it's okay, I'm not too worried about altitude. I'll lower that a little bit. Just trim down a little bit. Well, I'm glad this live stream, my first live stream, seems to be going quite well. Relieved. And yeah, future live streams, like I said, for those who have just joined us, I am planning to do live streams at least once per month and inviting people to come along with me to do some kind of lessons or just flying or whatever. A bit of both, maybe. Oh, nice. Push trips. Lovely. Tuscany. Ah, fantastic. I think I've visited there. My friend lives in Brescia, in Verona. It's just a lovely part. Verona itself is beautiful. It's where, for those who don't know, Romeo and Juliet and Dante. I'm a big fan of Dante as well. I think Dante spent a lot of time there. Maybe you can fill us in there, Mr. Rooks. Sorry, I'm losing my voice slightly. Oh, wow, lovely, Daniel. I bet that's incredible to fly around there. Okay, so we've got some kind of cliffs. We've got low cloud ahead of us as well. That's interesting. What's happened to my voice? It seems to have disappeared. It'll come back in a minute, hopefully. Nothing like live streaming. I've lost my voice. Anyway, we've got some more photogrammic scenery going on around here. Looks like. Lovely, lovely. No, it's the Series S version. Believe it or not, these incredible graphics are coming from the Series S. Look at that. Ah, wow. Okay, White Cliffs of Dover, underneath cloud. How romantic is that? Let's get back in the cockpit. Gonna decrease altitude a little bit so we get through this cloud. It looks like a thin layer of cloud. Yeah, absolutely. Good graphics. Yeah, and just be warned, chaps, the best time of me to stream is the morning, but it's not the best time for other people. So on my days off, in the evening, my voice gives in. I don't know what it is. I'll just have to train my voice, I think. I must be getting a little bit older, I'm afraid. My vocal cords are starting to retract. Anyway, White Cliffs of Dover coming up on our left there. Oh no, that's not good, it's Spindrift. Yeah, but I bet the Series X looks even better, Larry. I can well imagine. Oh, we got cloud over the White Cliffs of Dover. Where's the bluebells? Ah, look. How's that for luck? I'm just flying live weather, sorry chaps. I can go down a little bit, but I don't want to go down too much. Decrease my throttle a little bit. Gotta be careful because I don't know how far that cloud is from the sea layer, but I can keep an eye on my altitude. It's pretty much we're at pretty much sea level. Zero will be sea level, of course. Anyway, there's the White Cliffs of Dover behind the clouds. Oh, that was well planned. Right, I don't want to descend too much because I'm going to start turning in, and we'll soon be coming across upon the mouth of the Thames. Difficult one, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, you would need some kind of, you know, if you can't see the airport, your runway in VF5, you're not flying instrument, you're meant to abort until you can see the runway, really. Yeah, good point, Mick. 4K is a big one. Look at that. Doesn't that look sensational? Let's get outside and show you that. Oh, there's the Cliffs of Dover. Hey, we do see them. I'm not going to start singing, otherwise I'll have nobody watching. Very famous for the Battle of Britain times, of course. Dame Vera sang "There'll be blue bells over the White Cliffs of Dover." Very famous site. Been there a few times. Probably not as large and as expansive as people first think. But they're still quite a sight, and just very famous, of course. Good evening, Warren! Good to see you. Anyway, I'll keep it there. I'll bring up the VFR map, because I want to see where the mouth of the Thames is. Oh, we've still got some distance, so that's where we need to fly to here. And before you know it, it doesn't take long to get into London once we reach that part, so it all happens pretty quickly. That would have made a beautiful screenshot. Maybe I can take a screenshot later, and... oh, look at that. Wow. Not really. The draw distance isn't the best on the Series S, at least. But we're on the east of England at the moment, of the UK, so we're not going to see France. Might see Ireland. No. No, we're very close to the coast of the UK, so we're not really going to see France or Ireland, I don't think. I'm flying in the Cessna 172. My favourite aircraft currently still in Flight Simulator. Look at that cloud. What is going on with that cloud? That's better. So chaps, would you be interested in sort of group fly lessons, that type of tutorial group flying lessons? Let me know your thoughts and ideas. I will appreciate it. Oh yeah, Spindrift, yeah, brilliant, okay. I'll keep that in mind. Crater Lake, yep. Great, good to hear, Warren, great. Thanks, Tobias. Yep. Good. It's going to be chaotic, but it should be fun, yep. We've got more cloud ahead, it looks like, so going into London could be a bit dodgy. When we fly and follow the Thames, you're lined up perfectly for London City Airport, so you'll see that. This whole flight plan, go and watch the video later if you've not seen it yet, but it will just guide you pretty much onto the runways. It's brilliant. And PC Pilot Magazine, I'm getting this flight plan from PC Pilot Magazine. Well recommended. I don't have any affiliation with them. I just think it's a fantastic magazine. It's been my favourite magazine for the past 10 years. Yeah, you can send me a friend request, yeah. Obviously, when I'm recording, I can't really do multiplayer, but yeah, send me a friend request, yeah. Oh yeah, no, Xbox is fantastic. There's a lot of, there's a lot of sort of the grumpy sort of people about saying, oh, it belongs to PC Flight Simulator, and I'm saying no, it belongs to everybody. Everybody should be able to play it. It annoys me when people take ownership of something. It's, anyway. Huddison, you'll see at the beginning of this video. I'll bring it up later for you, Warren. But any videos I've done on Xbox, you should be able to see my gamer tag. I don't remember it off heart. Actually, that's my gamer tag. Huddison, hashtag is it? 2074. Okay, so we're approaching the mouth of the Thames now. It'll be this part here we're going to be flying down. Very exciting flight. And, oh boy, landing at London City Airport. That should be interesting. Yeah, it will be up as a vid later, yeah. Yeah, you'll be able to see the whole thing later. I can't see. Well, let's get back to centre. Yeah, it's going to be interesting if clouds going to be obscuring our view over the Thames. Yeah, to be able to play, let's go back on that. To be able to, will I? Let's just check, I didn't check that. I think I've done this before, it should be okay, I think, with fuel. Down, down, down. No, we're okay with fuel, we should be okay. Going back to what I was saying, it's great just to sit back on a couch with the controller in hand and just relax, going on a long flight somewhere. Couldn't really do that with PC because you were sat at a desk. Yes, if you had a comfortable chair you could relax, but I just find it far more meditative to sit on a couch with a controller in your hand and just go on a long flight. It's brilliant. Yeah, clouds are brilliant. I want to do a video covering clouds in a later video, and even use Rex clouds. It's on a PC at the moment, but that's meant to do Rex Weather Force, I think. It's meant to do some incredible stuff to the simulator. Look at these graphics. The UK countryside is unique in its formation and little fields and very neat and tidy. It's just lovely. Whenever I go to France and other places, I love their countryside, but when I come back to the UK, it's just some incredible countryside in the UK. I'm a bit biased, I know, but there simply is. Looks incredible. Oh yeah, the Huddison one as well, absolutely, yeah. I'm just using the controller in case I think a lot of people are using... Look at that! Sorry. A lot of people will be using the controller. And that's what I do with Flight Simulator. Since day one, I'm flying over something and I'm like, look at what's happening on screen. It always gets me. Ah, wow. Flying over an airport there, interesting. Runway, rather. Oh, Scotland, yeah, we did a multiplayer flight. Go and check my videos with, I think it was one of our first multiplayer flights was in Loch Ness, and that was just outstanding. And I'll be doing that in our sort of forthcoming live streams, challenging airports. I'll do a couple of tutorial lessons first, but then we'll be doing some challenging airports in the mountains and that type of thing. Okay, I'll get back inside now and start steering our aircraft, banking our aircraft to be precise. I know a lot of people like that preciseness. To the left here along the coast and into the mouth of the Thames. Oh yeah, the locks are beautiful, yeah, in Scotland, absolutely. Yeah, the UK as a whole is just, yeah, you could spend a year flying over the UK, the different parts of it. A couple of months maybe. And the US, I've flown over many places, I'm going to say it as well. Many places in the US, especially the cities, I'm a big fan of mega cities. Some of them just look outstanding. But the mountains as well there, and obviously you can spend a lot longer in the US, of course, in Canada. Okay, so heading in the right direction. Once we get in the Thames, you've got to really be quick. It takes no time to get to London City Airport. Oh, well done, Mick. Brilliant. That C's okay for that one. I've not tried that one yet. I must try it. I don't do many challenges, but I must, really. By the way, chaps, this is my first live stream. Is the voice level okay? How is it for people? Oh, great, Tobias. Sorry, I missed your comment there. In the Spitfire, lovely. We must do a live stream in the Spitfire at some point as well. That would be good. Spitfire's my favourite aircraft, by the way, generally. Look at that. This is why I love Flight Simulator. And the sensation, the feeling it gives you because of the graphics, they are important. Because the graphics are so well defined, it feels like you are at the altitude you're at and you're flying over these places. Incredible. Brilliant, great Mick, thanks for the feedback. And thanks Andrew. Yeah, I mean, I love DCS World. I like it for the realism. The Spitfire in that is... the Spitfire in DCS World is the best version of the Spitfire, but the world itself is not very convincing. X-Plane looks good with the add-ons. It's just not a patch. It doesn't give me that same satisfaction. I mean, look, it doesn't give me this when I'm flying over in with X-Plane or DCS. And I think a lot of people from those fans of those series are very jealous of Flight Simulator at the moment, and that's why you're hearing a lot of bad news and bad comments. Just ignore it. Great, good to hear. Thanks, Jed, and welcome. Okay, so I'm just keeping the VFR map. I wanted to make this a visual flight, but it's a bit tricky when coming into the Thames because there's different openings. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Different openings here. I want to make sure I get into the right opening, which is the main Thames opening. Or wash, as we call it. Mouth. One of those two. Oh, good to hear, Andrew. Great. So you flew over this part. What's my altitude doing? It's fine. Yep, it's where I want to be. So the wind is not too buffering at the moment, which is great. And I want to come right. So I don't know if I'm giving you mouthwash. Mouthwash, very good. Thanks, Larry. I don't know if it's coming across my tips, but I'm just gently easing. I'm gliding the aircraft. It's almost like I said, the best analogy I can use when I'm cycling. I'm guiding my bike rather than turning it. I'm kind of guiding it. Yes, I'm I'm moving the left analog stick, but I'm guiding it rather than heavily turning it. If that makes sense. And it helps that I'm used to flight sims, yes, I'm used to yokes and different controllers, so I kind of get what you need to do with flight sims. You need to be very gentle, essentially. Unless you're in a Spitfire, of course. Interesting, yeah, let's ask this question. There's 25 people here. I'm using hand flying with the trim. Yeah, I'm trimming manually. What's your favourite aircraft in any simulator? Let's start with simulators first. What's your favourite aircraft? Yeah, absolutely, Mick. Yep. Very slight touches, yep. I know where we are. I think, yeah, I can take that VFR map off because the Thames will be very obvious in a minute. Hey, good one. Cessna. Great. Hey! Everybody's Cessnas. Oh, okay. A320, yeah, I love that as well. I love the Aerosoft A320. It's one of my favourite aircraft. I'm hoping that Aerosoft will release... I'm looking to buy the CRJ, which is coming to the Xbox, chaps. I need to buy that to do a video on it, to give you a sort of preview of what the Xbox version could be like. And the 152, the classic 152, yeah, there's a lot of fans of the 152. I prefer the G1000s, and I need to do more videos on them. There's just so much you can do with them. CRJ, yeah. CRJ, lovely. Are we looking to buy that one? So you're saying no fly-by-wire, Andrew? With the A320? ATR 72? I've not heard of that one, Mick, I don't think. Gotta hope... Oh, windy. Gotta hope that Xbox opens the floodgates to third developers. There's loads of aircraft on the PC which are excellent. Yeah, it's a very visual, very sort of instinctive aircraft I find, these 172 and 152. I agree with that. Oh, you meant fly-by-wire, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've not actually tried it. I'm waiting for the Aerosoft to do their A320. I'm not a big fan of the default A320, I'm afraid. I know some people like it and the fly-by-wire. I like the experience. Aerosoft put in an excellent experience with their aircraft. Sort of voices, cabin crew, and just lots of different things. Different things you can do in a cockpit. TBM 3... Like, gotta get closer, my eyes are terrible. 330 is that? 930? Yeah, 930, yeah. Okay. P51, yeah, that was it released? It might have been a freeware version on the PC. Not sure about that. I know, no, 737, would you believe it? Yeah. So let me just concentrate. Am I in the right direction here? I don't want to be concentrating on chat. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, just keep going along here, should be fine. Stop the engine, you just decrease your throttle, hold down your throttle button completely to kill the engine. If you mean stop the propeller, there's a couple of buttons. Yeah, you switch off basically the engine completely. Sorry, let me just concentrate on what's going on. I don't want to be flying past our waypoint. What do you mean by kill the engine before I go too deep into that? Oh, brilliant. Well done, Mick. Great. Yeah, you probably answered it far easier than I was going to. So we'll just follow this coastline to our left in, and this will be the mouth into the Thames. Yeah, pull out the fuel mixture, yeah. And we've got lots of countryside around us at the moment. It won't be long until we start seeing built up areas going into London. Oh, good suggestion, Andrew. Yeah. Icon's a great aircraft too. Yeah, 737, we're going to hope that PMDG... I've got a feeling PMDG... Well, they are planning on making one. I've got a feeling they may remain PC exclusive for a while with a lot of their aircraft. I hope not. Stoke airfield there, very good. So we're in the pretty much in the mouth. We're going to follow this river round, and this will lead us into London and pretty much onto London City Airport. Alaska, yeah, I bet. Yeah, altitude's okay. So yeah, I'll say again, chaps, just in case you missed it. I'll be doing... Intention is to do live streams at least once a month, throw in a couple of kind of like invite you chaps along with me, maybe do some kind of tutorial group flight thing, and then once we get more confident, we'll start doing challenging airports and that type of thing. But you need to go and join Discord, and I'm going to set up a little sort of channel in Discord where you would sign up, show your interest for group flights. Because I will be doing sort of limited groups rather than having people coming on to crash the stream or mess around. I don't really want that. And it keeps it more manageable as well. So there we go, we're going to follow this large river around. The UK's main or major river, the Thames. Nothing compared to other places, I know, but it's what makes the UK special. I think everything's tiny and neat. Oh, Greenland in the evening, I bet. Do you get kind of like stars and you know, that kind of effect? Star fields? Bush trip, yeah, we could think about that, yeah, absolutely. Ground texture's a little bit on PC. I don't know though, my PC has improved exponentially since the Service Update 5. Xbox, just look, I mean, for the S, this is just, wow. I'm not sure, I'll have to look into that one, Mick, about the call signs. Okay, let me just concentrate a little bit, because London City won't be that far ahead. I told you, it's very quick once you get into the Thames. Not into it. Once you get over the Thames, let's hope we don't get into the Thames. The city airport suddenly... there you go, London City. Look at that, 14 nautical... 11... Is that 14? 14 nautical miles out. And you can see we're getting built up around. So it won't be long before I start decreasing our throttle. I'm just staying on over the Thames. Follow the line of the Thames and that will lead you into the airport. So again, gently gliding, If I need to turn a little bit quicker or sharper, I'm just going to add a little bit. We've got some wind farms there, look. Little bit of throttle in there. What on earth is that? It's like some kind of giant dildo on the Thames. Unusual. I don't know what it is. Okay, I better start concentrating rather than on that whatever it is. What is that? I'm waiting for you chaps to tell me what that is. I can't make head or tail. It must be some kind of barge, isn't it? Yeah, it's a barge, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay, I'm going to start slowing down now, in fact. So again, that right arrow on the second window, second G1000 there. I'm just going to get that arrow into the white arc and trim just to maintain altitude. I'm not going to slow down completely to flaps 1 yet. Still some distance out from London. But it just quickly comes up. Caution, doesn't look good, does it? We might just make this, chaps. Whoever mentioned fuel before could have been completely correct. This is going to be close. Yeah, some kind of barge, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, it's okay. We should have enough to get us. So this is kind of like becoming a bit of an emergency landing now. Now, what has London City disappeared for? Don't do this to me. I know London, thankfully, fairly well. Okay, the points of interest of, well, London City's disappeared on me, at least. Staying around this speed should be okay, and we should just make it into the airport before we run out of fuel. It's funny, I've done this flight a few times. I wonder if it's because I continued. Maybe. Never mind. Makes it more exciting, hey? So I'm just going to follow the river around here. Never panicking. Never panicking, even when I'm getting ready to come into land. It's one of the most fun things you can do in a simulator. Just keep your nerve, because there's nothing to panic about. You can glide this aircraft down if it ran out of fuel completely, in fact. I think they're designed for that, so if you have zero fuel or something happens, your engine's cut out, you can essentially glide the 170 and 152 down safely if you're near a field or airport. So I'm just still going to follow the river around. So if you do this course, do this flight, just follow the river once you get to the Thames. And essentially follow it, the river, into London City Airport, which I can see ahead of us. So I'm going to go to flaps 1. Right ahead of us there. Look at that. Beautiful. It's going to get us on a nice approach for that runway. Only one runway at London City, of course. Well, two technically, but one runway going in two different directions. Flaps 2. I am at flaps 2 just to show you. Just be careful of the flare there. Compensate, this was the word I'm looking for. With a bit of trim. Oh yeah, yeah, no problem here at all. And you've got lovely London ahead of us, look. So now I will try and use my throttle to descend or climb when necessary. Seems I've got a nice glide slope going on there. Lovely. And look at that for graphics. Series S, remember, chaps? I'll answer that in a moment, Mick, hopefully, or somebody else can, while I'm doing, just concentrating on the landing. Very bumpy weather. The joys of live weather. Oh yeah, no issues at all here. No issues at all. Famous last words, but we I got the runway wrong there. I thought it was on the right, but it's not. There we go. So much for me knowing London so well. Never mind. I can adjust there. Plenty of time. Even when I had to adjust there, still had plenty of time. It is bumpy. No great issues. Come back on the throttle slightly there, because I want to start descending now. Dabbing it a little bit, and then going to take over the controls with my left controller and actually start gliding this down. No panic. A bit low on approach there, but never mind, you can see from the pappy lights. But as you can see, we're going to make it onto that runway nicely. Kill the throttle. I am killing the engine, chaps, or throttle. Oh! Anyway, there you are. The joys of bloody live streaming. Oh, we're down. Look, I'm walking away from it. Oh dear, I was trying to be so careful with the pitch there that I didn't even pitch up. We came down, but with a mighty thud. 2 great landings. Have to improve. We'll just park up next to this beauty on our right now. Don't kill the throttle completely yet. Come on. No, I'm using the trigger buttons for rudder at the moment. Come on, move forward. Better. And we'll just taxi next to this aircraft, like I said. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the button clicking for throttles. Maybe I'll have to look at that and redefine the keys and goodness knows what. Brake, that'll do. Put the parking brake on. And that will do. Oops. Let's get back in the cockpit. So, thanks for joining in my... Lovely landing, wasn't it? Thanks for joining in my live stream. Much appreciated. So many people turned out. Future ones are planned, obviously, in the upcoming months. Once a month I'm looking at. Go and join Discord, and I'll create a channel there where you can join and show your interest for future live streams. Thank you so much, chaps. Much appreciated. And I'll see you soon.